Is joining us with some of the tips that you should keep in mind during your spring travel. There's a lot of stress.
There's a lot of stress, and I'm going to quote a study that TD did. TD Insurance ran this, and the three most, I think, worries that people have when they're going on vacation for spring break are falling ill. Obviously, you don't want to be traveling and someone gets sick when you spent that much of an investment to go. The other thing is losing something very important, like the wallet or your travel documentation, and losing something valuable like a smartphone or a camera. And I can tell you, for my teenagers losing their smartphone, it would be like losing their right arm. So
that didn't happen though, did it?
No, okay. Thank goodness. But it's a lot of worry because that same study quoted that 2 in 5 Canadians over spring break are going to be doing some form of travel. And that could be traveling only an hour away from their home or traveling overseas. So it's a lot of people going. So there's some things that I recommend doing before you go. And the first thing is that even if you're leaving in a couple of days, because spring break, most kids get out in BC tomorrow after school, make sure you have checked on travel.gc.ca the exit and entry requirements. A lot of places have changed their entry and exit requirements, so make sure you've got all the documentation you need. South Africa is a place where people don't realize that even if you're traveling with kids, with both parents there, you need full birth certificates as well.
Really?
So it's really important to check this before you go, and at the same time you should be, if you're leaving the Canadian border, you should make sure that you're registering your trip on there. It takes 3 minutes just so the government knows where you are and how to contact you. And also check for any warnings or alerts that are going on. Canadian government wants us as Canadian citizens to travel somewhere really as informed travelers. The next thing is, because of the weather conditions lately, you need to make sure you check to make sure your flight is actually on time before you head to the airport. The last thing, with kids in tow, waiting at the airport, you don't want to be doing if your flight's delayed. The next thing is that the insurance study done by TD showed that even though people have all of these worries, less than 39% of people get insurance. And I can tell you that at a minimum, as a mom and as a parent, I want to make sure that my family is protected, and that is one of the best ways. So do not travel without at least emergency medical insurance. Again, I don't want people to overpay, but check your policies. If you think you have it on a credit card, double check. We had someone who wasn't covered. They thought they were, but the credit card company had changed the policy over a year ago to say that that kind of travel insurance was not included.
Oh, gosh. And we've all heard those horror stories. I mean,
Yes.
we've done several news stories on that where someone gets stuck in a country and they have these huge medical bills that they are piling up.
Right. So check your policies and, get coverage for wherever you might need extra. Make sure those travel documents are in order. Check your passport expiry dates. If you are taking kids with only one parent or you're taking a friend's child, I know I am this year, make sure you've got a notarized letter, the permission letter, and make copies of all of your passports and documents. Keep them with someone you trust. Maybe email them to yourselves. And also make sure you pack a basic medical kit, because at 2 in the morning when someone gets an ear infection or feeling cold coming on or has tummy trouble, you don't want to be not speaking the language and trying to find a pharmacy at 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
So just some things to really consider before you're going.
Have all those bases covered, or just travel with Claire, because she'll have all that covered.
Well, my son is actually leaving today on a rugby tour with his school, and he's like, "Mom, you're so organized. Thanks so much for doing this."
Oh,
everything's labeled in packing cubes, and he's so organized.
That's so nice of you to do that.
Do we have some time for some
Yes,
deals?
yeah.
Okay.